Okay, I did bite the bullet and I got a new carburetor, but I'm still having some choke issues. I'm thinking it's more related to the actual choke linkage than the actual choke itself. So that's the next thing I gotta dig into, is why isn't the linkage working correctly. Luckily, I have a tractor with an engine with an identical setup right here. So I'll be able to look at that one there and figure out what linkages are working, what linkages are not working, and go from there. But it's starting, which is the main thing. It's a little bit hard starting sometimes. I'll come back out later on tonight and I'll try it again, see how it does, and see if I have to dig into the other machine or not to check out the choke linkage. But to me, it actually moved that time. Before, it did not move at all. So I'm not 100% familiar with these dual setups. Really, on my Alice Chalmers, that's the first time I ever saw this type of setup on these engines, and like I said, I'm not familiar at all with that setup. So if it turns out it's a choke issue, I got a brand new carburetor anyways. It was only $60 on Amazon with a tune-up kit, spark plugs, fuel filter. I'll be sticking the other carburetor on the Alice Chalmers. It does need a carburetor as well. It's hard starting, so that's where we are right now. I did end up doing the valves on this, like I mentioned in the previous video. I don't know when these videos are coming out and which order they're necessarily coming out in, but so while I'm in here, it was a cheap kit, carburetor, spark plugs, fuel filter. I'm going to do everything on this and get it running good. But I've narrowed down more and more of the issue. But before, with the original carburetor, even doing full throttle or holding the throttle down, anything, it would not start. So there was definitely a carburetor issue. But if you sprayed carburetor cleaner in it, it would start and run sometimes. So I think it was possibly that intake gasket mixed with a bad carburetor. But this carburetor is dead on identical to the one I took off here. So the one I took off here was definitely an Amazon carburetor as well. So I might try cleaning it again before I stick it on the Alice Chalmers. I'll point this out in another video. Just a quick tip on these here. You do not really have an intake gasket at the heads. It has an O-ring. Put some RTV behind those O-rings. It'll help it seal up a lot better. So I've learned that when I'm working on the Alice Chalmers. So it definitely does help with these plastic intakes to do that. The cast intakes, you do need the gasket. The plastic intakes, you do not. But the kits come with the intake gaskets no matter what. So anyways, there we are. Let's see if it'll fire up once more for us. Yeah, it's definitely starting a lot nicer now, which is perfect. It's running good. It does still have a hint of bad fuel in the tank. So once that's all ran through, it should be all be good as well. I will be putting some seafoam in the tank as well, just to help clean it out a bit. I do got to reseal both valve covers since I've had them both off. Recheck the valves once more as well and make sure nothing went out of alignment. Seal them, and the engine should be done. Now I'm more confident on actually putting the new blades on the deck, get that deck done, and get this machine back down the road. I have a line on potentially 2 other machines. I'll mention in another video if I end up getting them. But anyways, there we are. So I'll talk to them later. Please keep redneck like always, and please subscribe and comment.